It will benefit those less fortunate in England who are stuck in Aquaintour. Aquaintour means in traveling. They're traveling. Aquain means the road. Tour means gun. They're stuck in the gun's chamber. We fired them out. Aquaintour. They're stuck. Maybe then they can come home and say, you know what? At the least, I gained knowledge. Knowledge of how the system is managed. And thus, now that Ghana has acquired its natural rights and has acquired its sovereignty and is in control and is managing its finances, it has made room for people like me to return, but also polish up and remember the knowledge we have learned and come and give that to them. So I will go to Ghana and I will earn something. Let me end this Aquaintour. Let me end it from where I started it. Because where I started is good. Where I started is wealthy. Where I started is where wealth lives. Let me go and also ascertain that which Nanenya, may God, has blessed me. So me too, I can see that my prayers have been answered. So me too, I can say, I am a member of the first world. Because the first world is denoted by wealth. I'm wealthy. I'm Ghanaian. I'm wealthy. I'm African. I'm wealthy. I'm Western. I'm British. My son Kwame, he's British. My mom, my dad, my sister, my whole family, they're British. But we're black British. And certain decisions that are good for Britain is not good for black Britain. Certain decisions are only good for white Britain. It's a case of management. There was a stage. England came to Ghana and they asked the Ashanti king to lend them over 2,000 tons of gold. They borrowed it. The Ashanti said, pay back without interest, but pay back. Till today is an outstanding debt. I've got the dates, I've got the documentation. I've got no documentation to prove England ever paid. But I've got documentation to prove that immediately after this, they were fully aware that Ashantis sat on King Solomon's mind. They came in with the cannons and they flattened it all down, looking for the golden stool. Let's finish off with the British flag. So they positioned the army 8. The British will tell you that the red cross in the middle, the big one, is the St. George's cross. It's not a cross, is it? It's drawn across, equally across. Why? Because the Ashantis, put the heaviest armies, the heaviest power, at these four corners. Why did they do that? Because you have to divide the enemy to conquer the enemy. Divide and conquer. But you want to divide them, at the bit which gives you the most advantage. Equal bits. It helps you count. It helps you keep the numbers. They'll position them. They'll be lying and waiting for the British to walk into this ambush. They will then there are 2 extra cross, 2 lines crossing diagonally across the St. George's Cross, also red. These will be in English called the skirmish army, a smaller section. And their job is simple. It is to keep you, further divided. So if you look at the British flag, the blue bits, first they divided it into 50% quarters, 4 quarters. And then they further divided the 50% 4 quarters into, let's say, 10% and 25%. So each quarter was then further divided, into 10% and 15%, adding up to 25%. But they used the skirmish army, the smaller sections, positioned in the corners, to achieve this further reduction. Because you further reduce the enemy into a smaller number. Now, you keep the firepower in that line, in those lines. That's why they're red. It's danger. It stops them, from stepping into that danger zone. But because they're being fired on from all angles, communication is lost. They have no way of communicating to themselves to say, listen, the firing power is coming specifically from this 8 angles. So let's do this. Everyone is running for cover. They will run in the channels that have been left open. The corridors. The blue army will run that way. Most of the time they will end up separately inside the jungle, where the skirmish army, the cutthroat army, the mudmen, the Rastafarians, where they were camouflaged and waiting. In the jungle, the British army were lost. Their cans. They were at home. They adopted the system because they realized that, hold on, okay, they've been using it to defeat us, but look at the system itself. These people go to war with the ideology of dividing you. And they get the inspiration from their folklore hero, Spider-Man, Anansi. But get this, it makes absolute sense. If you divide a nation, into smaller pieces, then it is easier to control them. Why? Because you cannot get a whole community to agree on one thing. But if you create 5 beliefs, which are all under one control in darkness, then you can use the division you have created within each belief to control pockets. So you say the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, the MPP, the NDC, the PPP, the CPP, the NF, the National Front, Boko Haram. Yeah? But they all receive their orders from one source, knowingly or unknowingly. You spread fear when you want. Whichever way, you have set a route in which the benefits of your fear flows. And you control the people. The funny thing is, yeah, it's clearly evident because my observation is this. You see, my happy family, they're not part of the elite of England. They are hard workers who have worked hard to gain everything they have. They've toiled. You see, Brexit, yeah, it's not really for them. I'll be honest with them. Let me explain. You see, my nana and my gramps, yeah, they made a very good decision when they decided before Brexit happened to get their European cards. So they're also Europeans, whether England likes it or not. They're Europeans. What's the benefit? They still got access to 27 friends. Even if British, is outside of the human rights system, they are still in there. So they will still turn to that and still turn to whatever Britain has. They have empowered themselves. They have empowered themselves. But the decisions, what's happening? Whatever decision happens, politically, it doesn't benefit my family who are toilers. It benefits the rich who don't use toiling to gain money, but they use manipulation of the system to gain money. Political decisions result in system manipulation, in system tweaking. But the system tweaking never ever benefits the toilers. It only benefits those who have never toiled a day in their lives. Why? Because it is to keep it exactly that way. When the national prisons were sold off, it wasn't open for the people of Britain to individually bring together £1 each. Say they needed 30 billion to buy the public prisons and turn them into private prisons, and say the amount needed was 30 billion. Do you know that this could have been offered as an investment opportunity to the nation for everyone to contribute one and become a shareholder in the rehabilitation of its own people? And shareholders whom are affected by prisons, will run it right and will make sure it gets exactly what a prison is meant to get out of it. Reform characters. But no, they only offered it to the rich Masons, didn't they? So Theresa May's husband ended up with G4S. Genius. It didn't benefit you. When they sold off British Gas, you, the toiler, you couldn't buy it. And even if you were able to put some shares in it, you didn't put the right amount that took your life away from toiling. But get this, they sold off that which belonged to you. And you didn't benefit. when they sold off, yeah, the water companies, that which belonged to you, they sold it off to the rich, and you just became a bill payer. When to save money, they shut down the playgrounds. Listen, they shut down the playgrounds in our communities that our kids use. It didn't bother them. Why? They go to Disneyland. They fly off to Disneyland. There's one in France, there's one in America, and they can afford both. It's you who needs playgrounds. They have courtyards, yeah, the size of your whole estate. Your whole estate, they have that as their background. They have tennis courts there. It's you who needs these things, not them. It doesn't benefit you or toilet. I'm not saying there were no issues. There's always an immigration issue. But you have to ask yourself here, what was so special approaching 2020 that all of a sudden the banks broke? It's the mistakes of your leaders that got you angry, but then they diverted your anger and used it. Let me explain. They said Saddam was a bad man. His people, yes, we claim that they were living under tyranny. So they went in to save the people and kill Saddam. They did that. Today, I know the Iraqi people, are apologizing to Allah for agreeing. I know they are. Today, Iraq has become a state that you fear. Why? Because your leaders wanted, over 40 trillions of gold that Iraq held in its vault. They got it. You didn't see it. But they got it because it's not there. They wanted over $400 trillion worth of currency that Saddam held. They got it, but you didn't get any. It wasn't your war. It was their war, using your equipment, using your children as soldiers, toy soldiers. War has spoiled Genghis Khan when he entered the city of St. Petersburg, when he broke their defenses and entered, he told the Mongol army, take whatever you can take. Whatever you take is yours. Take the women, kill the men. The spoils of war. They took it back to the Mongol nation. And then they traded it amongst themselves, and they empowered themselves, and the Mongol nation became stronger. But when your children are taken to war, the spoils of war is heavily protected. They are just guardians of it. And then it's taken, and then it's put into other hands, and then by the time they know it, they just walk away from it. You don't see it. They don't see it. But they die for it. They claim it in your nation's name. But it only enriches the queen. It created a pocket, of rich Tories, and poor England. And then they weren't satisfied. They were bloodthirsty. They looked at Gaddafi, a guy who was turning the desert into a rainforest, a guy who was turning the ecosystem of the desert into a rainforest, a guy who was turning a desert patch, into a place worth living, a guy whose people enjoyed the benefit of their riches, a guy who collected the spoils that Nanyami had given him, and dished it out to his people, and even gave Africa some on top. They decided to go after this guy. Why? Because he was sat on so much wealth, gold, that he knew, that Africa could get its autonomy and its strength back, if only, we can go back to the original currency. The original currency is gold. Why? We had loads of gold. So we just used to take the gold to you and say, what do you have? Oh, you have that. Okay, we'll give it this much gold for that much of that. The English one day came to get gold, but they had nothing worth trading. So they gave us their word. They gave us their word. Their word came in the form of a token, a piece of paper, that they will put a few inscriptions on, and they will say, for example, me, Queen Elizabeth I, from the nation of England, ruler of the nation and the people of England, I ask Ghana to give me 2,000 tons of gold, and that at some point I'll pay them back. Ghana has agreed. So this little note, is a promissory note. And then the value on the promissory note, so 2,000 tons of gold equals, for example, 2,000 cattle, if the cattle is a value, So then we know they either owe us 2,000 tons of gold or 2,000 cattle. But this promissory note is an admission from them they owe us that. That's what money is. An admission that you are owed this amount. But the amount of what? The amount of gold. You're owed that amount in gold. In gold. In gold. So Gaddafi realized, hold on, you have to print money. But the printers for money is owned by the West. So they control money. But Africans don't have to print gold. They have to dig it. The digging rights for African gold belongs to Africans. So Africans can just go and dig it and then go and trade it. But then the West realized, but then that would mean, that they will have to first sell off all their gold, back to the Africans, only to come and buy more gold, because their money will no longer be worth anything, as we're now using real currency, gold, wealth. So they killed him. They murked him. They murked him one time. And then they stole all the gold reserves he had. And then the Queen became 88 billion pounds richer, and Britain was still breaking at the helm. Homelessness in gospel, homelessness everywhere. I used to walk around there and I used to be sad. When I first moved into gospel, it was quiet but beautiful. It was quiet but beautiful. And then come 2016, listen, you start seeing it in front of McDonald's. in the shop's corners, in the shop's doors after close. Woolworths. Some of them were ex-navies. Some of them had psychological problems and they didn't live up to appointments. And they've lost their houses as a result. And now they're on the streets. And their psychological issue is getting worse. The rich kept buying up everything. I knew a taxi driver who told me once he knew where the gospel mayor, the woman, where she lived. Something Love, I believe her name is, yeah. Is a complex, yeah, heavily protected by security. She hardly ever comes to town. Now, go and see. Soon the rich will buy everything, because there's no jobs for gospel people. So they can't buy anything. Soon the rich will buy from underneath them, raise the prices, and they will suffer. They're toilers. They're toilers. It's a pyramid system, is how it works. You enslave the masses and empower the few. It's an African system. The Africans abandoned the Egyptians, but the Masons picked it up. Empower the few, enslave the many. I'm happy for everyone, honestly. But I wish, yeah, that we will be very informed. Because even our happiness, there could be hidden trepidations. Because Canada may seek sovereignty and take that little British flag away. It may not be so special to be linked to England no more. Commonwealth will break down. It will just break down. It won't be that special anymore. Why? New Zealand may take that little British flag away. Ghana will just forget about it altogether. Nigeria will just forget about it altogether too. The whole of Africa will just forget all about it. India wants their ruby back, that big ruby on the Queen's crown. India wants it back. If they don't get it back, they might just forget about it. Fuck it, no tea. Fuck it. You're not the only one who drinks tea. Just fuck it. No spices, fuck it. In fact, India will order their Indian restaurants to shut down. It will be an order from India to Indian restaurants in England to shut down. And he will tell them, you're doing it for the sake of your nation. No pampadons. No chicken bounty. No sagaloo. No lamb curries. No bounty rice. Straight up. But they will cook all these things in their houses and they will share it with the Hebrew Akans and the non-Brexiteers and those who don't support the monarchy, who hold on to all the wealth that England steals and are greedy with it. They'll only feed themselves. In Portsmouth, yeah. I live in Portsmouth as well, yeah. There's a chicken and chips, yeah. Sorry, a fish and chips place here called Ocean's Blue or Blue Ocean, yeah. It's England's, yeah, staple diet, fish and chips. But get this. Do you know why it's fish and chips? Because there was one stage, yeah, where hunger came, yeah, and all that could grow was potatoes. And obviously, you see, when there's hunger on land, it doesn't necessarily mean there's a drought in sea. So there was a good supply of fish. So it became potato and fish, frying fish, frying fish, frying fish. It became a one-sided meal until foreigners entered the scene. The Africans brought Lov3 rice. The Ghanaians and the Gambians, they brought Lov3. Nigeria brought Niger rice. Short, fat, dry, peppery, tasteless Nigerian rice. The Ghanaians and the Gambians, they brought Lov3. You understand what I'm saying? The Chinese, they brought chow mains. The Indians, they brought the curries. And then there's all assortments of meat. Kebabs from Ghana, kebabs from Nigeria, fry-ups from Ghana, fry-ups from Nigeria, India, this, that. And then you realize, the English are only English, when they tell you they're English. They don't have a national dish. Fish and chips is actually Irish. It's actually Jewish. Irish Jews. Sovereign rights. It's a claim being made by the Common Club, the Almond Club. It's not for all. Many will still remain in council estates. Many will still be undereducated whilst their children, go to the schools that train them to become future leaders. Your kids will be trained to become future thieves.
Achia ne suemuyu Benifu wasi yesina bebunina Wansumu ninipu Omaye mamini unina Sankofa enchio Enti yanko yechio Right away we back to one new Ukabumwa imu Intimini unina Yankamu na yenyomei again and again. Yeah, let's make Ghana great again. We wanna make Ghana great again. You and I. Let's make Ghana great again. Yeah. SANKOFA into you. SANKOFA into you.
One 33.
Yay! Well done, Franklin. And I also want to see you get something, Sanya.
I'm just trying to make some music. I'm just trying to entertain. Some said I'm young and crazy. Some said that I'm insane. I face my struggles daily and never once complain. We might share the same culture, but we are not the same. You don't even know my story. You don't even know me. Stage is like a courtroom. Crowd is like a jury. So much bad minds surround me. Say they my friend, but them no love me. Ungrateful people me no want see. If you watch me rise and make history. Smart of me say, how they be there? Jah guide and protect me anyway. I will never show them no fear. Mama hope and pray for a better day. See me no know what me heading, but me know where me been. And all me know me never going back there again. Through music and fame, some things have to change. Mama gonna get a big house and rain. I always learn to keep my faith, even when it seems too late. Standing outside heaven's gate, hoping to God they let me in. I know I ain't perfect, no man on this earth is. So tell me why you want to fight me down, why you want me lay down underground. As I get the youth I stand alone. Forgive me for my sins, my wrongs, and let me carry on with my redemption song. Oh, oh, oh. See trouble I come, but trouble I go. And time is hard and it cold like snow. No one knows the struggles me been through, and nobody in the world can walk in my shoes. From me and I and me mommy alone. My daddy dead and gone. Look up take me on my own, but I learned to stay strong. I walk the streets without no fear. Sleepless nights and no one cares. Sometimes I cry and no one here. Live my life out on the edge. I watch my friends lay in the dirt and no one knows how much that hurt. Put on my pants, my shoes, my shirt. Sunday morning, the first Monday in the church. But they think they know me, they try to judge me, don't know my story, don't know a thing about me. Uncle demon, them praying every demon, them never see. Look how them try to fight against me. The demon thing is just darker, like a movie, Uncle Demon. See Bunty and no killer, ninja and no ninja, mad carol and no cobra, elephant and no elephant. What do some fool them a talk but intelligent? But they think they know me, they try to judge me, don't know my story, don't know a thing about me. See as a man I stand alone, forgive me for my sins, my wrong, and let me carry on with my redemption song. With my redemption song.
They killed Gaddafi, created false promises, and Africans went flooding for hope, when everything is right here in Africa. All along, the gold was being transported, but Africans are chasing gold. The diamonds are leaving, but Africans are chasing diamonds. It's time Africans held the flights and searched each and every one and brought to account each thief.
You know, when I saw this barrier, yeah, I was a bit dismayed, yeah, because, you know what, I could show you the bullet mark. There used to be a bullet mark here, where the bullet didn't hit him, it lodged into the wall. Yeah, but it shows you. Can you see this whole thing used to be glass, innit? Yeah. And get this, yeah, it was in here. Yeah, in here. This used to be my our surgery. As you can see, look, the Clapton surgery. Yeah, my mum came in here for a checkup. Yeah, for a checkup. And while she was sitting in the waiting room waiting, yeah, that's when she had a heart attack and nearly died. And it ended up being stroke. Yeah, I'm connected to this place. Yeah, every time I walk here, I've got bad memories. But yeah, twice. I nearly lost my mum in this place. And I actually saw someone being murdered in this place. The funny thing is, yeah, we make so little of life. Every time I used to walk here, I used to remember exactly where the bullet... You know what? I get the feeling it's behind there somewhere. Yeah? It's been a while since I've been through here to look, because every time I come, I only come here now to get my hair cut. And every time I come, I try to walk quickly past this place. But today, I'm going to take you through... well, not today. From today, I'm going to take you through some of the things that I've witnessed, some of the things that I've been through. I wanted to show you. It was always left there. No one ever touched it. But as you can see, they're doing whatever to this place. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So, and I'm signing out. Who's Ghana?
Ghana.
Who's Ghana?
Me Ghana.
You Ghana. Yeah?
Boy.
No, me Ghana.
Me Ghana.
No, me Ghana.
Me Ghana.
Okay, you Ghana. What am I then? Me Ghana? Me?
Me Puppy.
Yeah, me and you Ghana.
Hey.
Oh, okay, you Ghana.
Puppy.
Me Puppy. Who's Ghana? You Ghana.
Ghana.
Yay!
What?
Yeah! You Ghana. Go Ghana. Go Ghana. Go down Ghana. Go Ghana.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tripper, and this morning I would like to have a discussion with you about some Hebrew antics. Anopa. This is Anopa, this is morning. In Hebrew, we say morning, we say Anopa. Anopa means, yeah, to wake up and immediately make your mouth good. Anopa, make your mouth good. Brush your teeth, It means it's very important to brush your teeth, because if you don't, it's scientific that all the germs that have been hibernating overnight in your belly will hurt you, and God doesn't want that. The Hebrew God doesn't want that for his children. So the first instruction is anopa, clean your mouth. The second instruction to humanity from the Hebrew God of Tete, of old times, is Iriamre. Iriamre means afternoon, but Iria means sun. Mre means time. Meaning the Hebrew God of old is telling you that at Iriamre, at the sun time, that's when you go and get your son. At Iriamre. And then from Iriamre, after you got your son, in English we will say we have evening, but in Hebrew we will say we have Enyumre. Enyumre means Enjumre, time for music, because in the evening is the time you get the kids around the fire for story times, for music times, for dancing. The music, the evening is the time you get ready to go to a club. So Enyumre means music time. Music time goes on for a certain amount of hours, and after that we have Anajo. During music time, during Enyumre, you're all loud and all shouting, and then Anajo comes. Anajo means it's late, you need to go to sleep. So Anajo, the Hebrew God of Tete, is saying that you should slow your mouth down. Anu Ejo, the mouth should slow. You should start getting ready, relaxing, getting ready for what? For bed. Anu Ajo. Yeah. After that, then we've got Adie Asa. Adie Asa is the Hebrew language for night. It's late, but in translation, it actually means everything for today has finished. Everything has finished. Why? Because you should be in bed, resting. It's Daye time. It's vision time. And then, come 12 midnight, the Hebrew God of Tete gave us a time, and it's called Adie Ache. Meaning, this is what they call the time after 12 midnight. So 1 minute after 12 midnight is Adie Ache. It means something has been caught. Che means to catch. Adie means something. Yeah? So something has been caught. You hold on to what you've caught, which is life. You've caught life for the next day until Anopa, and you make your mouth good with what you caught. People of this world, I'm going to explain to you what the Hebrew God of Tete wants you to know. I'm going to explain to you the difference between knowledge and nyansa. Nyansa is the Hebrew word for intelligence and innovative. Someone who is just amazing. He's got nyansa. In England, someone who's amazing, who does all these things, is got knowledge. Now, Ghanaians, forgetting their past, intentionally, not by themselves, but the pressures of the world's greed, and trying to wipe away the Hebrew history so they can give it to the wrong people, forgot themselves for a bit. But the Akans believe in soul washers, and soul washers are people who are able to touch things and get messages, who are able to touch people and get a feeling, who are able to just see things, either in the past, in the future. But they can only do this in the soul world. It's called Akra Mukumfu, meaning people who fight within the soul world. These people, in translation, the word I just said, Akra Mukumfu, means the person is a soul washer. These people don't tell lies. These people tell exactly what they see. These people speak because their hearts are clean and they're really close to God. So God speaks to them. Because God works in a spiritual world, if you really want to communicate, because each and every single one of us has a communication line to God. The only reason why we go to church to pray and we go to see these fame chasers is because we're not ourselves connected enough. But it doesn't make them connected. You see, you can either connect to good or bad. And most of these preachers are connected to bad. They lie. They don't tell the truth. They say they worship God, but God never sends them any new messages. They say they worship God, but they never get any nyansa. But get this, I'm going to show you, that all your preachers have knowledge. They don't have nyansa. Because nyansa, is the hand of God, the hand of inspiration. It means nya and sa, to get a hand, to receive a hand. What's that got to do with knowledge? It's telling you that where you got this information from was from a supernatural root, from a supernatural hand, from the hand of Nyame, Nyaminsa. Get my hands. I've only got a minute something left, so what I'm going to do, when this finished, I'm going to record part 2. I'll probably record as many as possible. Today's a good day. We're building something. We're building life. Yeah? We're building life. There's a lot prohibiting us from building life. But there's also a lot pushing us into building life, because the God we worship is a life builder. Today I'm going to explain a few things to you that come from knowledge, and I'm going to explain a lot of things to you that come from nyansa. I'm going to distinguish the difference between the two. You see, you can have knowledge, it doesn't mean you have nyansa. But you can have nyansa, that automatically means you are the maker of knowledge. Because when you know something that nobody else knows, which that's knowledge. But when you know something that knowledge doesn't know, until you put it on paper or until you make it heard, it's nyansa, because it's supernatural. Okay. Part 2. Let's explain what knowledge is. Let's do what the Hebrew God of old taught Hebrews to do. You break the word down. There are 2 words, and both words have a meaning of their own. The 2 words are know and ledge. So let's explain the word know. The word know means to know something. So right now, get this. I know it's a sunny day. The sun's behind us, by the way, sorry. It's too bright. That's why we've got it this way so the camera can pick it up. The knowledge is everyone knows the sun is out. Everyone that's within this atmosphere knows the sun's out. The knowledge is the trees are green. The knowledge is it's windy. What you know. Yeah? But that's know. So what's the ledge? What's the ledge? The ledge is something that you know that at the moment nobody else knows. But get this, when I say nobody else, I mean in your friendship circle. Because you, okay, get this, yeah, to get knowledge, you have to go to the library, school, education, whatever. It has to be something that is written. That's why they say knowledge is power. That's power over there. That's knowledge. Everything that's in there, if I didn't know and I read it, it becomes it is knowledge because it's been written down. Now, what is nyansa? Nya and sa o nya me. He or she got me. Nyame o nyame. He or she got me. So let's explain nya and sa, nyansa. In Hebrew, a country, nya. The word nya means to get, or you've already got something, or you have received or about to receive. Nya. Me, as always, means me. Yeah, it's spelled M-E, just like in English, M-E. So there are two words in this one word. Yeah, nya, me, which is God. Yeah, but it means get me, receive me, got me. But get this, let's go back to nya and sa. There are three words in there. Nya, get, got, receive. That's what it means. N means A, as in a boy. Yeah. Now, sa, yeah, means three things. If someone says sa, it means dance. If someone says ensa, it means hand. If someone says ensa, same word, it means palm wine, not apeteshi. That's different. That's ungodly. It's palm wine. That's natural. It's actually good for your insides. Okay. So, nya and sa. What does that mean? It means to get a hand. It also means so get my hands, yeah, one. Get my dance, two. And get my wine. You see where the idea of the Holy Communion comes from? Nyansa, to get the holy wine, the natural wine produced by the earthly powers, the sun, the air, earth. Yeah, you see that tree over there? Yeah, that's what palm wine tree is. It comes from palm nuts. Yeah, and that's what it looks like roughly. That's not it, but that's what it looks like roughly. Yeah, I'm talking about that tree over there. Hold on, can you see? Yeah, that tree over there. That's what a palm tree looks like, but only shorter, and it's got a lot more of those branches you see there. Let me see. Yeah, on top. You cut it, and you let you put a little heat to intensify the Anyway, I'll explain that to you later. So to have nyansa means you have three things. One, you have his hands. Whose hands? He says nyaminsa, get my hands. Whose hands are nyaminsa? God's hands. So I'm telling you, nyansa, yeah, is different from knowledge. Knowledge, everyone has knowledge. Even the dumbest person, yeah, has knowledge. Yeah, let me tell you, 99.9% of your preachers have knowledge. The face shook, everything shaking when I said that. 99.9% of your preachers have knowledge. The Catholic Church, yeah, all the priests, they have knowledge. They took things that they couldn't understand and they've held on to them, and they're starving the world, yeah, of inspired nyansa that was then made into knowledge so mankind can look at. For example, a soul washer's disc. What's a disc? A disc is something that contains information. When you look on a soul washer's disc, yeah, if you know how to read in the soul world, you will notice that every disc represents the flat surface of the earth. It depends. Some of them will be divided into four, the four corners of the earth. and it will always tell you where the prediction is coming from. Yeah, you will see which corner of the earth there's problems in. When you have 3 birds on each corner plate of the earth, all 4, it means that all 4 corners of the world are a what? Peace. When some of the birds are missing, it means where the birds are missing, there's problems there. Na na na, oh yeah. Unjumani na harabasu. Over here. Uncle Prince, right. Those you under me free. Kylo. Kylo. Hello, that's my Uncle Prince. Yeah, the accountant. Big boss. Wagwan G. Okay, time to go. They're going to do some work here. I think we're about finished anyway. Yeah, but take in the view. This is my view when it's all done.